When you try to think of what separates top players from our casual circle clickers, one of the first things that comes to mind is their weird grips. Every single person I've ever met holds a pen with a standard dynamic tripod grip, but when it comes to top players, it's actually not so common. So in this video, I'm going to be trying out a bunch of grips from well-known pros and ranking them by how comfortable they are. To start off, I'll show you what grip I currently use. It's kind of your regular pen hold, with the only difference being that my entire thumb goes onto the pen, not just the tip. It's how Rafis used to play, and this grip is pretty good for any type of map really. My biggest problem with it is pen slip though, so if we can find something that's easier to hold, I'll call that a win. WhiteCat is an insane player. He's gotten the first FC on some of my favorite maps like Euphoria and Sound Chimera, not to mention his dominance on 3 mod. And so I was quite excited to try out how he holds his pen, and the results were disappointing. My main issue with this grip is that while hovering, it's really hard to keep your stylus at a consistent height. This is something that might be negated with more experience, but for a first time user, it was pretty rough. I also noticed that because I was getting to each note later, I had less time to read the next few, which resulted in some pretty funny mysteries. What's funny is that compared to some of the other grips, this one is surprisingly normal. Case in point, Idki's grip. This one is pretty ridiculous, and I really have no idea how he came up with it, but it is not very comfortable. During the play, my thumb hurt a lot, and after I finished, my entire hand felt pretty numb. That being said, since this grip is so restrictive in terms of movement, nerves are actually negated a lot of the time, which I guess explains why Idki uses this grip for long consistency maps. Overall, I would not recommend this pen hold, as there's another very similar grip that is much less painful. Vaxei is one of my favorite players of all time, and I sort of always remembered him using a tripod grip, but at some point he started using what I can best describe as a better version of Idki's pen hold, with the only real difference being that in Vaxei's version the pen points down as opposed to the side like Idki. Out of all the weird pen grips I'm going to look at, this is by far my favorite, probably because I actually used to use this, but stopped because of pen slip. This is the biggest problem with it, as when you start to lose your grip, it's pretty much impossible to adjust it during gameplay. But most maps have breaks, so this isn't too much of a problem. And of course, I hit the diff spike. I originally didn't know whether to include this one, as it's so similar to my regular grip, but it is slightly different, and it's hover. So for this one, the question I'm going to ask is, how good is hover with a grip I can actually use? The answer is not too bad. The real benefit of this grip, as opposed to something like the WhiteCat grip, that in this version, you're aiming with mainly your wrist, whereas the WhiteCat grip is more centered around using your fingertips. This makes it a lot easier to keep the tip at a consistent height. So overall, if you hover, my biggest advice is to find a way to keep your pen from going up and down too much. The next one is kind of a meme, but I decided to at least try using the HVIC225 grip. Now if you don't know who HVIC is, he is basically the WhiteCat before WhiteCat, aka a top tier aim player. And I'm not sure if I'm holding it wrong, but how the heck are you supposed to aim with this? I literally thought I was going to get arthritis. And because even after almost 150 plays on the map, it took me a good 3 or so tries before I passed, I would not recommend this grip for literally anyone. It is by far my least favorite one. It's kind of fun, but on the other hand, I would not risk my health to play like this. I genuinely have no idea how HVIC holds his pen like this. What a mad lad. Another very unique pen grip is Flyingtuna's. Now if we look at his grip video, it looks like he's pointing it down, but on stream it actually looks pointed more forward, so that's what I'm going to roll with. Now I hope I'm not the only one who thinks this grip looks like a cat's paw, right? Tuna is mostly known for his crazy aim control, but I can't do those maps, especially with this pen hold, so I'm going to rip off his anime band score. Not a lot to say about this one, only that it seems a lot less likely to slip, and very fun to use. I would definitely suggest trying this one out. No idea how to hit jumps with this though. Flyingtuna is a one-of-a-kind aim player. Speaking of insane aim, we got the mrekk grip. I cannot understand how he goes so fast with it, because this is probably only less restrictive than the Idki grip. It probably has a lot more to do with his smaller area though. Even so, I was able to get a pretty okay run on the extra difficulty of Black Clover. Outside of restricted movement, it slips fairly easily and my hand sweats more when I use it. I know a lot of other people use grip, so it must be pretty good. I guess mrekk being the best aim player and using this hold makes it pretty special. I would not use it though. Since I want to keep this video short, I'm gonna stop there. In terms of which I would be most and least likely to use, I'd run the tuna or vaxei grip. They're just the most comfortable ones. I would not use the hvic grip as my hand hurts like crazy whenever I use it for more than 30 seconds. I'll throw up the complete list on screen. And you've made it to the end of the video. If you watch the whole thing, comment cat grip as well as whether I should make a part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye!